It's Osho, and today I'm going to be giving a showcase of the Tier 9 French destroyer Mogador. Currently, it is extremely strong in its current iteration as of 8.6. It will be releasing in 8.8, and yeah, I'm projecting that it's going to be nerfed 3 to 6 months from now. They're probably not going to touch the guns, but they will probably touch the second or nerf the secondary aspects of these ships. The torpedoes, maneuverability, sealment. I can definitely see those getting nerfed in a way. Whether they all will be at the same time is unlikely, but something about them. The guns are the bread and butter of the ship, and I think Wargaming sees that the guns are tuned to where they want them. Not, I think the secondary aspects of the ship are what propels it to ludicrous levels of overpoweredness and stuff. Anyways, with the rundown of the ship, it has standard DD health, 20k. It's on the higher end, but with things like Kitakaze, and if other destroyers are running survivability expert, they'll be equaling you in HP. If you run survivability expert, you'll have 23k ish, I think. Otherwise, artillery reload is crap. The base DPS of this ship is crap. If you're like fighting another destroyer and you don't have MBRB, you're gonna be out traded. I think there's only 2 DDs in Tier 9 that will out trade you in a pure DPS fight, ignoring saturation. Saturation might save you in these regards, but ignoring that, your time to kill is significantly less without MBRB. But with MBRB, you're top of the line. So try to take your engagements with other destroyers when you have MBRB available, or if they're super low health. Otherwise, HE damage and fire chance are all standard DD stuff. It's not really that much difference. HE penetration, 22 base, 27 with IFHE. IFHE is a choice that you can take, and you'll probably see an improved effectiveness in your damage capabilities against cruisers, but you won't see any difference against battleships and destroyers. That's the caveat of it. You'll actually see a reduction in capability against battleships, as you weren't going to pen them anyway, and you lost fire chance on them. But in regards, it's a personal choice for other people. I personally don't take IFHE, but it's definitely available for people. I've played a couple games with IFHE in a kiter build, and I would recommend IFHE in a kiter build. But if you're not going to run a kiter build and you're going to run the same build as me with DPS as the core dynamic, I would definitely not have IFHE, as you can use your concealment to get the broadsides of cruisers and stuff. And this is where the AP comes in. The AP is extremely good. The damage is standard DD, but the penetration is more like a upper tier CL. It will penetrate most cruiser belts at like 8 kilometers. I think I've seen some have to get down to like 5 kilometers, 6 kilometers sometimes for some weird reason. If they slightly angle it, I think they can kind of get away without getting citadel, but light cruisers get eaten alive by this. This is a light cruiser counter in theory with their poor, firing arcs usually. Like I've basically dev struck Neptunes with MBRB in this thing. Probably a lot of poor aim by my part, but if you got really good aim with these guns, you're just gonna rip someone up. Otherwise, firing range, I think it's the base is like 12.3 or 13, something like that. Probably, I think it's around 12 kilometers. Standard DD range, you're going to want improved range no matter what build you play, either between from AFT or the range mod on slot 6. So keep that in mind on how you build your ship. You're going to need range. You want to get past that 12 kilometer zone. Otherwise, your effectiveness kind of is crap when you are forced to kite away. Otherwise, for torpedoes, they're amazing. They do a lot of damage. They're fast. They're concealed. And they go a decent range of 8 kilometers. They're basically F3s on with 5 per side, the firing angles on them are basically god tier. It's super easy to launch both sets when you bow in or even bow out. They're amazing kiting DD torps, to be honest. You lack the range when you're effectively fully kiting, when you're like 13, 14 kilometers out, unless they're going full speed like a Georgia trying to charge you. You'll probably be able to torp him if he's heading in. But for a concealed build, these torps work extremely well. And when they're on target and you predict where they're going to go, they're going to probably die to these things. They're just impossible to dodge unless they have Hydro or are able to see them well ahead of time. If they're seeing them at their concealment range, they're dead. That's essentially the core dynamic of these torpedoes. They're really good that way. AA defense, you're not going to like CVs against this thing. Well, I should say that. You're not going to like fighting CVs in this thing. You don't have AA. It's gone. They might as well take these guns off, because I've never felt that this ship ever did any damage to planes in this thing. You just get destroyed. That's essentially it. You're super fast, but your maneuverability is not like other DDs. Terrible CVs will miss you, but the Unicum CVs, they're just going to eat you alive. There's nothing you can do other than being in the back or being by a lot of AA cruisers. And even that might not help you. Maneuverability, speed is top tier. It's definitely extremely strong in the speed department. It's easy to run down people when you need to, and easy to escape people when you need to. Turning radius, though, is the problem here. You can kite with this turning radius perfectly fine, but it's when you get caught out. When you get caught out, you're not going to be able to turn away instantly. It's going to take time. It's going to take 10, 12 seconds, and by that amount of time, you could lose half your health, or you're not going to effectively dodge rounds. It's pretty easy to shoot a ship with a 700-meter turning radius when they are executing a full turn, especially when they're bow in and you catch them when they're broadside. They're not going to be immediately bow out by the time your rounds get there. Rudder shift is pretty good. Kiting build, you can get down to 2 seconds. It's strong. I see no problem with the rudder shift time at all. Concealment, the lowest you can get is 7.1. And the base concealment basically is 8.8, minus probably, what would it be, camos. I tend to not really think of camos. People that are naked in this game are a detriment to the team in multiple aspects, so don't run the ship naked, of course. But 8.8 or 7.1. The big thing in the way you're going to build this ship is if you're going to go concealment, you're going to go full concealment. And if you're not going to don't half-ass your concealment, basically. Don't take half the skills. Either you take both or you take none. It's all or nothing at this point. So keep that in mind in how you build your ship. If you're going to be running concealment, you're going to have concealment expert on your captain. If you're going to be running the rudder shift, you're not going to be running concealment expert on the captain. That's the big takeaway here. Otherwise, for modules, I like the speed boost module. It makes you last for 4 minutes and 30 seconds, if I remember. 270 seconds, but I think that's 430. So it lasts a long ass time. I think it's like 3 minutes or 3 minutes and 15 seconds for base. No, actually more. Okay. Like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I think. Anyways, it's really really strong to have the speed boost mod. Pretty much there's not much selection on these three right here. Slot 4 is where you get choices. You can either run steering gears or propulsion. I like propulsion because it keeps speed in turns, and you won't bleed speed as easily. And when you're caught out and need to dodge torp, when you're going slow, you can speed up really easily and fast. While steering gears will make you more responsive in the maneuverability department for kiting. For slot 5, it's either concealment or steering gears. If you're doing a kiting build, and don't have concealment in the captain, I would definitely recommend Steering Gears Mod 3 instead. You will have like a 2-second rudder, and you won't lose the loss of a rudder at all. It'll be coming back instantly. The moment it gets disabled, it's probably going to be like a 7-second, 8-second time to repair, and it's pretty quick. Otherwise, for slot 6, it's going to be a choice between DPS or range. I wouldn't really take the torpedoes or the AAs. AA is trash, so don't even bother with that. Even though you can stealth torp, I wouldn't really rely on the torpedoes themselves as damage dealers. You either want to out-trade DDs with the DPS or out-trade cruisers and battleships at range with kiting. So keep that in mind. You're going to want one form of ranged, either AFT or this. So in the way you build your captain, in the way you build your ship, you need one of these range mods. Here I have a chart of all the tier 9 destroyers in the game as of 8.6. All the values are base. There's no modifications to any of the damage or HP of all the destroyers. If you want to have survivability expert in the math, you can just generally add 3 to 5 seconds of time to kill for majority of the ships. The DPS, you can probably reduce the time to kill base by 22% if you're running a DPS build. So it's pretty easy math, but it doesn't change too much in the core percentage-wise, maybe except for Mogador's MBRB, as MBRB basically makes the 22%, 44%, and the amount of difference it can make in a fight. So you can't really apply the 22% to difference in MBRB or the time to kill MBRB. You have to apply it to the base and then half the base. So that is the takeaway for the math portion of this. In general, you can see your major threat is going to be Kitakaze. Out of all the destroyers, it is the one destroyer that will have the full capability of out-trading you in a non-MBRB engagement. And it's the one that has the easiest to fight you in an MBRB engagement, as everything else has 10 seconds plus of difference with the MBRB, while the difference in base, it's going to win out single-handedly as long as it's close range. In further range engagements, Kitakaze loses, as you'll be able to effectively dodge all of the rounds, especially if you're a kiter build, though I doubt the Kitakaze is going to willingly fight you at 12 kilometers. So keep that in mind, that you don't really want to get caught out with a Kitakaze. You're probably not going to survive 2+ engagements against a Kitakaze. Whether you can out-trade him is going to be up to the Kitakaze and how you are effectively able to mitigate damage. But against every other DD, though, you're probably going to win. MBRB single makes the trades completely one-handed, or one-sided, I should say. English is hard. I'm an English speaker. But you can see the major difference between MBRB and base DPS. It's a significant overhaul in how effective you are at trading other destroyers. It's one of the core reasons I like the concealment build. It really reduces the amount of time that a DD can prepare himself to fight you. It's either if they're going full speed and they're bow in and you're bow in on them, that 1 kilometer difference of distance or concealment is covered fast. Fast enough to where if they're not really aware of their surroundings and they're looking at something else, you're going to be on top of them by the time they notice. So keep that in mind on how to ambush people. I wouldn't recommend charging open water towards the destroyer. I like using islands as a way of getting closer. The closer you can get, the more likely you're going to win, especially against every other destroyer other than Kitakaze. Kitakaze is the caveat to the situation. Every other destroyer you're going to out-trade. That's the main thing, especially with MBRB. If you want to look through this chart on the browser instead, it's going to be in the description. As YouTube is pretty crap for rendering small letters with the pixelation. So it will be in the description if you want to look through it. I might add a little bit more to this So you can toggle multiple things. So the 22% DPS modifiers and some other things. Otherwise, I'm gonna bring us over to gameplay. I'm gonna have multiple gameplay showings. You don't need to watch it all, obviously. They're all gonna have commentary though. So if you want to improve your play on how to do things, it's definitely worth a watch. Maybe give me more views, but you don't need to watch it all. So don't be scared of the 1 hour plus length of this video. You don't need to watch the whole thing. The right now is all the core takeaways you just need, really, if you want to see the way of fighting and stuff, or how to take engagements, or what happens to a Neptune when it goes broadside. That's going to happen in all of the games that I'll be showing. So hopefully you can enjoy those.
Much obliged, Commander.
We're going to loop a little bit to the beginning. You don't really need to watch the first 2 minutes of the game where you're kind of walking to the combat zone. So here I'm going to be just kind of coming in close, using my concealment to be kind of stealthy and kind of block out the middle cap a little bit. This is ranked, obviously. Tier 9. I'm running stealth build. There's the Neptune. Broadside. Kind of dumb play. Don't expect that Neptunes would just give you free damage. So, this is more of a showcase of the gunning capability of this ship. There is no chance of this guy getting away now. It is free damage. Everyone else is shooting HE, so a lot of the damage that I'm doing is just going to stick. Well, I don't kill him because I'm dumb with my accuracy. But you can see that his game's over. And it's done. Dead. Shot down by Jean Bart HE salvo. So you can see that the damage racks up pretty quickly. 41k with 1 MBRB is a very nice number. Whether you can do more, I should have been able to kill that guy if I was perfect on my aim. So there's a little bit of a takeaway there for me, as I need to aim a little bit better. Anyways, my core plan here, work the sides. There's nothing to stop me other than that Kronstadt for radar, but I'll survive a Kronstadt radar, even if they all shoot at me. The only thing that can stop me from doing this push is another DD. So, as I don't have MBRB right now, if a DD actually really wanted to come and fight me right now, it would be the most dangerous part for me. But they're all going to play mid-cap, as all DDs do. So I wasn't really worried too much moving up down this point. You'll start seeing that it's really fast. This ship is very fast to flank other people. 55 knots or 50 knots is no joke. As long as you don't play with the rudder too much. I think if you play with the rudder a little bit, it's always 50 knots. But you already see I'm already broadsiding the Jean Bart. Kronstadt is the major threat here, though. I get detected, I think, by one of the destroyers. And then there comes the radar. Kronstadt's not really looking at me right now. And this is the nice thing about flanking people, is their guns are going to be usually completely the opposite direction, especially when you're a rear flanker like this. When you get in the rear of a ship or a battle line in the Mogador, it's game over for the enemy. They either have to aim at you or aim at your team, and if they don't aim at you, you're just going to farm them. You can see that I'm using AP here. I don't have IFHE, and it's still pretty effective. I was shattering on his belt, so do keep in mind heavy cruisers, and especially the battle cruisers, their belt armor does stop your rounds, sadly. It's not super fun times like the Neptune, where you're just going to shit on them all the way. Otherwise, working the side, I see that the Kronstadt is bow in on me, so I'm just going to charge him. There's very little alpha package in his ship, and very little DPS. Like, I'm full health. He's not going to kill me in a single salvo. So here we're going to go take the big boy play of just charging him. I generally like to save at least one torp tubes. No. You can use one launch, but don't use the other one. You wanna hedge your bet. Say if he does dodge those torpedoes, you have the other set, but he doesn't dodge those torpedoes. If he did, I would have the second set, and those would kill him. Anyways, now I'm in optimal combat positioning. Either these battleships have to shoot my teammates or me. And if they shoot me, they're going to completely ignore my teammates. And then I'll just go dark, and then they spend another 70 seconds of badness rotating the turrets back to the team. But yeah, we've completely surrounded them in the essence. And either I get to do freely farm, or I'll take their attention away from my teammates. So here it's just free farm. Not too much else to take away. Once you get into an optimal position, you're just going to farm them. And there's nothing they can do about it. As tactically, it'll be impractical to turn their guns towards you. As, they're going to probably want to save a star or do more damage to the team. The black is right there. I kind of didn't notice, to be honest. Now I do, because he's shooting at me, but here's the factor of MBRB in trades. I'm at half health in the beginning. And I'm still essentially half health. Just the DD just does not trade well at all. Almost eat a torp there, but that's kind of the danger of getting in close with another DD. Torpedo threat. If they do aim their torps correctly, you can get shafted pretty easily. You can't really turn that fast on a dime, and your speed sometimes shafts you. I've driven into a lot of torpedoes just because of the speed. Anyways, you can see that HE it shatters a lot on battleships. It's kind of something to be expected. If I could aim better, I would probably be hitting the superstructure there. AP is still really well done, as long as you don't hit the top belt like I did right there. But after that, this is pretty much the game. In the end, that DD is going to be way the hell down south for some weird reason. I didn't know that. I was planning on hoping to God he was going to be on like E8 by this point, but he wasn't. So we're going to go to the next game now. Here we're going to skip well fully ahead of time, or the beginning. I like working the 1-3 line. So I'm theorizing you can probably do the 9 line, or not 9 line, the 7-8 line on this map too. Especially in ranked, you can see the distribution of the teams wouldn't be able to stop you. DDs do not go to the 8-9 or 7-8 line on 9 line for some reason. Anyways, I like the 1-2 line. It's a perfect kiting ability area. It's pretty easy to out-trade people. The island between the two caps here, you kind of hide behind and ambush people if you're dark in the beginning. We can definitely see where all of the enemies are now. So this kind of lets you make more decisions and stuff. I can see the Kitakaze and where he's going to be going. And I see Cat on board over in the Seattle. Pretty good player. The Kitakaze, I feel like, was going to come this way. So I launched Torps where I believe he's going to be. As if he comes down and he gets caught unaware with those torps, he's going to be dead. That's the thought process here. As I like to do the preemptive torps by this island, especially in ranked, because you can sometimes get a bunch of DDs. Anyways, there's also the Iowa. I get detected by the Kitakaze, so the plan is kind of heading on, on track where I want him to be. The problem, he turns away the moment he sees me. So my concealment saved him, which is kind of sad. If he turned in, stayed straight, he probably would have died there just by the torps alone. So keep in mind, you probably want to turn or do something when the Mogador detects you if you think you're going to get preemptive torped. Here's the showcase of long-range trading. I'm a pretty subpar kiter, to be honest. And what I feel. And you can see I out-traded him. Especially since I have saturation mechanics to help me. The HP on the bottom left there is a lie. As long as you don't take center hits. If you take center hits, then it's not a lie. But if you take bow hits and aft hits, the saturation does definitely help you. I'm just gonna farm this Iowa now. I would say around 12 kilometers, you can definitely torpedo people heading towards you. Even with 8 kilometers, it's pretty quick to cross 4 kilometers in distance for people. Especially if they keep a straight line. Though, sadly, this guy's going to turn out. You can see the Kitakaze smoked up to farm me at like 10 kilometers, which is just... Don't do that. It's a waste of smoke. In reality, like, that smoke just got wasted on that Kitakaze. He's never going to hit me. You can just see how floaty his rounds are. It's impractical. It's impractical to engage another destroyer at like past 12 kilometers, as he is. Otherwise, keep on farming this Iowa. Not much to it other than dodging. I feel I've been rather unlucky lately with double fires. I just don't feel they happen to me. Sadly. So not much here. It's just casual farming of a battleship. There is like literally nothing a battleship can do to you. It's at certain ranges, except for Russian battleships, because Russian battleships are a totally balanced comrade. High velocity and good accuracy is annoying. Otherwise, I'm not going to try to go down the 1-2 line directly without knowing what that Kitakaze is doing. I just don't want to. It's very dangerous to fight Kitakazes, I feel. And with Cat on board on their team, I kind of want to play a little bit safer and more intuitive in a way of how I'm going to fight. And here's the AP on Seattle. 9 kilometers, 10 kilometers range. Render delay saves him here, actually, kind of. I probably could have finished him off here if it was continuous spotting. You can see you can just chunk people really quickly on this. Seattle's raised Citadel compared to Worcester lets you kind of get the Citadels. It's slightly up to RNG a little bit, but not too much up to it. Anyways, team health is still pretty much the same. Our Seattle is pretty low, and Cat on board is pretty low now. So he can heal back a good chunk of HP. I'm going to random torp the gap. Get a Kai's that could be there. Who knows? Worth a shot. I mean, the torpedo reload's pretty small and negligible. And I wasn't planning on using them at all anyway. Musashi comes by the gap over here as well. I wasn't planning on doing anything with him, but we're going to farm him now. With my subpar kiting skills. Ironically, torpedoes come close, if I remember. Yeah, they came close. Probably made them worried a little bit, but no effective increase in damage there. You can also see the Iowa completely backed off. Kitakaze also did not want to fight me. I don't know why. If the Kitakaze and Iowa came down this line, they could have definitely done something. Whether I would have killed them or not would have been the breaking factor. But they would have severely hurt me in the end. Rather than, well, whatever is happening here. The fact that they're not countering me on the 1-2 line is... It's going to play badly for the enemy team at this point. Yeah, since I have freedom, I can do whatever I want. Musashi's going to do a complete charge down the line. I wasn't expecting him to go full like this. I like to always underlead my torps more than overlead. So you'll see, like, I'll launch them a little bit back. And, yeah. Kind of makes me sad. Usually underleading helps. usually people play with their rudders. They, like, I want to slow down or reverse kind of stuff. While, yeah, my Iowa's being an idiot here. I'm kind of actually happy he rammed. I don't know why he charged, and he didn't have to. It was kind of pointless for him to do that. He could have outtraded the Musashi with my help by just reversing. Here I call him out on it. 'Cause I get annoyed by people that do that. There's no point. You don't need to rush in people. When the guy's low health, you don't want to get into a ramming distance. It's just reverse. If the dude's really low health, you probably end up killing him before he can even do anything against you. Anyways, now knowing where everyone is, I get to rush down this line. With speed boost, it's pretty fast. It's definitely worth the time. I'm going to get an extra cap here as well because there's nothing to counter me. And I will be getting the flanks of literally everyone. Just like the first game, once you're on a flank, you have a significant advantage against other ships. Here's Cat on board. There's nothing really he can do. He's kind of stuck in that position because his team is just not helping him. He's a great player, but great players broadside or still people broadside. There's no fault to him in his position here. It's just literally nothing stopping me to come down this line. And if I was better in aiming, I would have killed him faster here. I actually probably would have killed him, but me and my shitty aim doesn't help me. I actually take out a gun of his too. That's the more hilarious part of losing a light cruiser gun to a destroyer is kind of funny. MBRB is coming back up. The whatever this guy chooses to do. I kind of like the close range when I get MBRB, especially when I'm kind of overconfident. Whether that's a great idea or not is a different story, but the closer you are to a destroyer with MBRB, the more dangerous you are. I see that he opens fire at me. I was waiting for him to open fire, so he stays lit. And now, well, you can just see if the dude misses his first couple salvos, he's dead. As the chart basically showed, like he has the ability to, damage you significantly, but well, he missed his first couple salvos, so he got completely outtraded. Anyways, now we're in the back of the team. A little bit too far out for my own liking, but you get what you get with your engagements. The Kitakaze being there kind of pushes me back a little bit further than I wanted to be. I was reversing, so I was like, ooh, I could kind of torpedo the guy. But he starts going forward now, so I have to hold off my torpedoes, otherwise they'll never get in range. When a battleship is heading away from you, you can't really stealth torp them. It's very impossible to. Like, I'll engage. I'm going to get up to like 6 kilometers before I start launching stuff. And it's going to be barely enough to get to him, probably. That's foreshadowing. Otherwise, he can't really engage me. If he turns his guns for me, he can't shoot my teammates in the front. And this is why having these rear kiting angles area or positions makes it incredibly frustrating for the enemy team to fight you. Like, this Iowa can't do anything against this. Either has to fight the team in front of him or, well, behind him. You can see that torpedoes just barely ever get there. Luckily, I fired those 2 kilometers ahead, and they barely get to him. Tons of damage, just free farm with torpedoes. Torpedoes are excellent. Even with their 8-kilometer range, they're basically F3s. You can't stealth torp people that are running away, but heading towards you, broadside, they're definitely easy to hit. Not too much to the end.
Nice work.
Kitakaze is all that's left. Game's basically won. It's practically impossible for the Kitakaze to win. He is going to farm more damage after he has that cap. I kind of wait to see how he's going to dodge with my MBRB before I use it. I like to kind of conserve it as much as I can, especially the last one, even though it's kind of game ending. He slows down So I'm thinking he was going to do the whole I'm going to reverse kind of stuff as a DD, so I kind of preventively start shooting backwards. But he starts kicking forward again as he's getting hit significantly by me. And then, yeah, long-range trading is pretty easy in this one. Kitakaze is kind of shafted in it. Anyways, this will be the end of the video. It was rather long, so if you did get to the end here, thank you for watching. If you want future content, do subscribe. I will hopefully, maybe, eventually, as when I am not lazy, make a positioning video and stuff, a little bit more generalistic kind of guidelines rather than ship guides or ship overviews. Uh, this only applies to a single ship rather than like all ships in general, sadly. So it's not too much to take away from unless you're going to play this ship. So hopefully in the future I'll do that. Otherwise, I do stream on Twitch, generally every Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, with sometimes kind of random streams in between those kind of days, usually on the weekends or Friday. So if you do that, I have the Twitch channel, I think, linked in my YouTube or something. It's going to be in the description anyway, probably. So if you didn't find me there first, then yeah, I'll have other content there. Otherwise, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time whenever I make a video. Eventually. I'm pretty lazy on this channel. Otherwise, see ya.